These are devotions for people at a social distance. Once again, as I read through the scriptures this morning in my own devotional time, I find something that speaks very much to our present circumstances. Luke chapter 11, verses 24 to 26, gives Jesus as a professional demon caster outer had certain understandings of and I tend to understand the idea of evil spirits or demons in a larger sense in terms of the things that infect our society, that infect our institutions, that lead us into bad directions, right? And these are not. I do never would use the idea of a demon to demonize an individual, but they have a way of working their way. This sort of overwhelming spirit of evil, leading us into wrong directions, does have a way of infecting groups of people and institutions, even churches. Sometimes I've certainly seen it, and so this is one of Jesus' principles when he talks about the casting out of unclean spirits. When the unclean spirit has gone out of a person, it wanders through waterless regions looking for a resting place, but not finding any, it says, I will return to my house from which I came. When it comes, it finds it swept and put in order. Then it goes and brings seven other spirits more evil than itself, and they enter and live there. And the last state of that person is worse than the first. Now, I think of that in terms of where we are right now in the country. We are seeing some occupations of, the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, of the city of Ottawa, where people, in a quest to be heard, that I might have some issues with, but I do believe people have a right to be heard. They have occupied, and this has created a situation where, unfortunately, a lot of evil has surfaced, where we've seen racist tropes and symbols, where we've seen acts of hatred and assault on the ears at the very least. And, all kinds of bad things have surfaced in the midst of all of this. And we're on the cusp now of beginning to evict these occupations. I think that's what's going to happen in the next little while, and it's not always going to be pretty. On some level, it may be necessary, but this principle is kind of important when something's happened that has shown up some of the flaws, the shortcomings, the evil that's there in society. When things like racism come out, you can't just kick them people out and think that's going to end it. Just like you can't cast an evil spirit out of somebody's life and think that, okay, that's it, we're done, they can just go back to normal, everything's fine. Not going to happen. Once these things have surfaced, once these things have come out, yeah, you might free yourselves of them for a short time. We might kick people off of the Ambassador Bridge, and for a short while, all things will get better, which is good. But once these things have been awakened, they don't just disappear. And as Jesus says, the demon comes back, and the demon will come back. And so his advice is this: you kick the disruptive people out, fine, and then you sweep up the house, put everything back in order. And what happens is that you haven't addressed the underlying issues, the underlying discontent, the underlying evil that is there. And so then the demon goes out, brings back seven more, even more evil. Once this has been let out of the bag, you don't get it back in the bag, and the situation becomes worse unless you actually begin to address some of the underlying issues. And that's where we are. Uh, we might applaud some action being taken to kick people out of places where they really shouldn't be, but if we just think that's what's going to solve it, we are sorely mistaken. We have some work to do as a country in terms of bridging gaps, in terms of addressing some real concerns, and facing up to things like racism that are there in our country. And if we don't do that, just getting through one crisis and kicking people out isn't going to do it. So, anyways, this is the reflection I got from this gospel passage this morning. Lord, let us not fail to address the issues we as a people, as a country, really need to address. Amen.